Hey guys, so today I'm here for a quick video because I have just had a new lid delivered for my reef tank. Hey guys, so something you don't normally see on my tank is the lid. So normally before I start shooting, I remove this just to make, just to make it look a little bit sleeker. So lids are super important because sooner or later, if you don't have one, there's a high chance that one of your fish will jump out. So, I mean, some fish like this wrasse I've got here would be much more likely to jump out than others. But ultimately, any fish can jump out given the chance. So, yeah, lid's really important, and often some people do have like solid lids, but from what I understand, the mesh ones are better because they allow for like a better gas exchange. Yeah, and also I've got a automatic feeder up here, so if there weren't holes in it, then the food would just sit on top of the lid. Yeah, that'd be pretty useless. Anyway, I've had this Red Sea lid now for quite a while. It's one of these that kind of comes as a kit and is an absolute pain in the ass to make. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty good. I had a smaller one on my old Fluval Evo 52 litre tank as well. But the problem I've had with these is sooner or later the mesh on the top starts to come a bit loose, and it can be hard to kind of get the mesh in there. Yeah. So anyway, what I've found here is I have quite a lot of surface tension, surface movement on the water, as you guys know. And yeah, this lid starts to bow down a little bit here, so it's just the mesh itself, and this means that it kind of goes all, yeah, a bit rubbish really. There's like kind of algae growing on there. If I lift it up, you can probably see it's got like this horrible algae sort of gunge growing. Yeah, and it's just a pain to keep cleaning. Also, when you whenever I want to get into the tank to put like a frozen cube in the feeder here, I have to lift off the whole lid, and obviously there's bits of condensation on it. It's just a bit of a faff. So yeah, okay, so I went looking for a better solution, and there's this company called Reef Tops in the UK, and what they do is they do like custom fitted acrylic lids, and they've got the mesh on just like this, but they can have like little feeder holes and things like this, and they're not particularly cheap, but I've heard that they're really good quality. And you know what, with problems I've been having here and my makeshift cable tie solution to try and keep this fastened up, I decided I was going to give one of these a go. So just arrived today. I haven't opened it yet at all, so what we can do, I am going to go and grab some scissors, and then we can open it together and get it on the tank and see how it looks and how it works. While you're watching me unpack this new lid, let me just take you through how I actually ordered this custom lid. So I got in touch with the company over Facebook to request a quote. Now, I couldn't find any price list kind of published anywhere or anything like this, so I assume due to these lids being bespoke that the price is also provided to each person kind of on request. Now, because of this, I'm not going to give you guys the price that I was quoted, so I don't think it's fair to share this price when the company are clearly not publishing anything publicly. Now, just to be clear though, these guys likely had no idea I have a YouTube channel or that I might make a video about it. So, you know, there was no special deal here. I paid for this lid out my own money, just the same as everything else in all the videos I've made so far. So yeah, I requested the price, they sent it over. I had a little think about it. At this point, I decided that I would go ahead. They told me it would be about 3 or 4 weeks to kind of go through the full process to it being delivered. The first step was they kind of asked me to send over a picture of the top of my tank so that they could see were there any allowances need to be making for like lighting brackets or cables like the wave makers on mine, which have to come out at the back under the lid. Did I want any kind of feed-in doors, anything like this? after that, what they did, they drew up a drawing of what the lid would look like with dimensions on it, and they asked me to check all the measurements. So I did this, returned it back. They then told me that they would get this made and it would be shipped out to me. Now, there were a few delays in this process, so I think they had some unusual circumstances on their side, and also I asked them actually to delay the delivery a little bit just so that I could be around when it was delivered. So all in all, it probably took around, I don't know, 6 weeks for it to be delivered for me. But as I said, some of that delay was kind of at my request. So I don't think it'd be fair to judge them on that. Now that I've got the new lid unpacked, let's get the old lid off the tank, get the new one on, and let me tell you what I think of it. Right guys, so the lid is on the tank and it has actually been about 5 days since I got this new lid. So I want to start giving you what are my first impressions, having used it for a best part of a week. And just let you know what I think. So first thing, and this is probably the biggest difference compared to the old lid which I had, I have not had to take the lid off the tank at all since I put it on. Now normally with the old one down here, I have to lift this off every time I want to feed frozen food. So I often put the frozen food in this little feeder here for it to defrost, and I would have to lift the lid even if it was just up a little bit just to drop the cube in. And I don't like to put supplements in through the lid as well because it kind of make a mess, so I would have to lift the whole lid off to put them in. And what happens, inevitably you get condensation on the bottom of the lid, and then when you do it, it goes on the floor, and then you have to mop it up, and it turns like what should be a really straightforward thing into just being a bit more of a faff. And of course, when you put the lid back on, you then have to line it up with the cables at the back so that they fit through the little corners here that are just nibbled off a little bit. So yeah, that's the first biggest improvement. So the way this works, there's actually just a little lid here, a little door that you can just lift up, and when I want to put anything in, I can drop it in there. Now I also arranged for this to be sized so that my like seaweed feeder here just fits in quite fine. And one of the things you can choose is whether you want the lid to kind of come all the way to the edge of the tank, or if you want it to kind of be more in the middle. So for me, because I want to be able to put magnetic items on, I asked for it to come all the way to the edge. But I think other people have different requirements and maybe like them to be further in. That's up to you. And you can have as many kind of little lids or little doors as you like in different parts of the tank. So I did consider having them over the wave makers for putting supplements in, but you know, as you can see, I've got so much like water movement in here that like wherever I put my supplements in, they disperse really quickly. Now something else that's kind of cool here is, as you can see, you've actually got somewhere to stand. You've actually got somewhere to stand things on the tank lid. This is kind of cool. So you know, a lot of tanks now are rimless, this one included, and like the rimless tanks give a really nice look, but you do kind of lose that little space to kind of sit something on while you're just working with it here. And you saw there, like I was just able to stand the lid and the nori feeder just on the side. So that's kind of something that I didn't expect, that's been quite helpful. Yeah, and before I mentioned the cables, so there's these cutaways here where the kind of cables can come out. So there's two cables coming out on that end, and there's one over here. Now these were maybe a little bit bigger than I expected. So I don't think there was actually a dimension on the drawing for the cutouts. Now, I don't know if that gap there, you can see maybe like just about fit 2 fingers in. I haven't got the like fattest fingers in the world, but I don't know if maybe an eager fish could maybe fit through that gap. I am wondering whether maybe just to like put a little insert in there or something just to smallen the gap, but you know what, it's probably okay. I tell you what though, you guys let me know in the comments if you think that gap is too big and I should be you know, doing something with it, or if you think actually that is quite all right. Now the next thing is you can see here, oh well, maybe you can't, I did clean the tank up a little bit for this kind of update bit here. Compared to earlier in the week, you were seeing it pretty dirty and everything. It was kind of as it was at the time when the lid was delivered, but it looks like you still can't see through the top here because of the salt creep, but maybe you can make out that the mesh on the tank is like basically installed perfectly. It is so flat. That was something that I've always struggled with on the Red Sea DIY lids, getting that mesh kind of, you know, with enough tension in it. And yeah, it always seemed to hang down a little bit. Now I'm sure you can, but you know, I never seem to manage well. This one is, yeah, I mean, it's as flat as you can probably get it, really. I mean, I didn't think it was even going to be this flat, so that I'm absolutely chuffed with that. You know, the lid itself is actually a lot more solid than I thought it was going to be as well. It's you know, the polycarbonate is actually quite thick, so it gives it quite a solid feel. Yeah, I mean, it fits nicely. There's a little bit of play in it, which I guess is a good thing. You know, you wouldn't want it to be too tight, and I guess, yeah, well, in fact, one of the things I was worried about, you know, would it be so snug that, you know, what happens if it might not fit or whatever. But no, I mean, I'm dead chuffed with this. I mean, I don't know how much light it'll actually stop getting to, you know, from my LED bars here, with them kind of probably shining down on the edge a bit, but you know, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Overall, I'm absolutely chuffed with this lid. You know, I'm really glad I went for it. It looks the absolute part. More importantly though, it's really functional, and you know, that was what I really wanted from it. Yeah, I mean, if you are looking for something on a budget, I would 100% recommend the Red Sea DIY lids. I mean, like, I've not really had any major problems with it. I would say that getting this lid is a luxury, and it's definitely a better quality lid in my opinion, at least, you know, from what I can see so far. And you know, if I had the money to spend in the future, I would definitely, you know, get one of these, and I'm really glad I got it. But I don't want to make out that like you have to have one, because you know, the other lids are pretty good as well. But what is important, I'd say, if you've got fish, it is really quite important to have a lid. In fact, I'd say it's very important, because the number of stories I hear about fish jumping is just too much. Anyway, I mean, if you've got any questions you want to know about this lid, leave a comment and let me know. So until next time on Indoor Reef, keep it stable, keep it fun, and keep reefing.